All right, we're live. Texans fall to the Chargers 34-24. Interesting game, to say the very least. We knew what the sales pitch was going to be. I didn't even need to go to Lovie Smith's press conference today to know what he was going to say. He was going to praise his team, and he even said, let's focus on the positives. He was going to praise the team for hanging in there, not giving up, the way they finished. They had an opportunity to win the game. And that's where I want to start. Because I'm not going to judge Lovie Smith by wins and losses at this point with where they are in the process. I think there does kind of have to be a gray area when you judge coaches, players, general managers, whatever in this situation, especially when two football idiots were running the organization before. And Bill O'Brien and Jack Easterby, the worst display of front office work you'll ever see. But there are like certain moments where you can judge a coach. And if Lovie Smith is going to say we're close, and if Lovie Smith is going to say, okay, we're in position to win, then that's where the curve goes away and you start to assess a coach. So today was really the first time that I got to look at Lovie Smith and say, okay, what the hell were you doing here? What was that? And in my previous videos, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I'm going to have some of my boys coming in here as well. But if you're new to the channel, like, what I've tried to be like as patient with Lovie as I can possibly be. My bad, I was getting distracted. I got my guys coming in, so I was going out there. But at the end of that game, if you look at what Lovie Smith did, first of all, the Chargers called the timeout, and they lined up on 4th and 1. So you had time to pick your defense. Lovie Smith then burns a timeout, and the defense seems completely unprepared for a play that should not have been a surprise. It's the same play they tried to run to Rex Burkhead, except they have Austin Eckler, so it actually made effing sense. So Lovie burned a timeout, and on the very next play, the defense looked out of sorts, and they moved the chains on a 4th down. Then the exact same thing happened again when the Chargers scored the touchdown. Okay. You burn that timeout. That timeout probably would have meant more had you gotten the stop or had you held them to a field goal. So Lovie killed the timeout there. Then we go to the end of the game, and why the hell was he calling a timeout down 10 at the end? That was some Greg Schiano bit coaching if I've ever seen it. And then why the hell is Dameon Pierce running the ball at the end of the game? If there was ever a time to give Rex Burkhead a carry, it was there. I mean, my goodness. That was some bit coaching by Lovie. And honestly, one example, the example I just mentioned, doesn't matter in the big scheme of things. And the other one, that's something that you're going to need. You're going to need to handle those situations correctly, especially if you're going to be calling defense and especially if you're going to be managing clock late in games. So that was the problem with Lovie. Also got to start questioning the defense as a whole, although I don't think he has a ton to work with. Let's go to the offense. Davis Mills started out terribly. It was check down central, check down central, check down central, check down central. Started out 10 of 14, 40 yards, an interception that's as bad of a miss as you'll ever see, and then a ball over Nico Collins' head that's as bad as you'll ever see. Pep Hamilton called a couple of good plays there. Davis Mills just failed to connect with Nico Collins. I think Davis Mills was going to get benched today. And I think he was in jeopardy of getting benched before Dameon Pierce ran that 75 yards. I think that touchdown, and I said it at the time, I think that touchdown by Dameon Pierce I think it allowed Davis Mills to kind of breathe a little bit. And if you don't believe me, let me just present some stats. And you can check the receipts because I said it at the time. Before that Pierce run, Mills was 10 of 14 for 44 yards and an interception. So he was basically checking down the whole time. And whenever he threw deep balls, you had the one that sailed over Nico's head in the interception. And he was looking as bad as he possibly could, to the point where I saw Kyle Allen with his helmet on the side and the broadcast was starting to talk about him. Pierce got that touchdown. And then after that, Davis Mills was 16 of 21, 202 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. So he appeared to find his groove. I know a lot of people are mad at Pep Hamilton. I've actually defended Pep Hamilton when it comes to like the play calling, because I don't know how much Pep could do. And again, there's some examples of some good plays where Pep probably hasn't, the players haven't helped him, specifically the quarterback. I just got mad at Pep this week for the coddling of Davis Mills to the point where he said he can't have a sophomore slump because he's technically not a sophomore. To which, appropriately so, and you can put the comments in over there. We welcome those. We welcome interactions, agree or disagree. Don't forget to subscribe, spread the word. Juan Rosales says, you know what Pep meant that Mills ain't a sophomore. Mills hasn't played a full season. I think he's only started 15 games. He hasn't started 15, but I think he's played 14. So technically he's still a rookie. That's what he meant. That's stupid. That's stupid. It was dumb when Pep said it. It was dumb when you said it, Juan. And I love you. I mean, I don't know you, but I appreciate you for being in here. Doesn't make any sense. I don't think that Matt Eberflus is saying that about Justin Fields. I don't think Robert Saleh is saying that about Zach Wilson. The guy is and quite honestly, I was in front of Pep Hamilton. So I talked to Pep Hamilton many times about Davis Mills. Not once did he say, well, he's inexperienced. He said, oh, it's going to be a nice jump from year 1 to year 2. So don't give me that he's technically not a sophomore stuff. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. I think it's an example of coddling. Maybe it's necessary coddling, but there's nothing. That made no sense in any way, shape, or form. But I'm actually kind of like being patient with Pep Hamilton. I'm not as frustrated. There are some things, but is it a personnel thing or is it a Pep thing? Like, I don't know. I don't think that if you brought in some awesome offensive coordinator that things would look much different. I was driving in. I heard Clint mention Mike McDaniel, and I'm the biggest Mike McDaniel proponent. They are. Clint Sterner, you can hear him 2 to 6 Monday through Friday on Sports Radio 610. He said something like that doesn't have to do with players, that scheme. Give me an effing break. I mean, the way the Miami offense looks, I mean, that is players. In implementing an offense, that offense didn't look great when Tua went out, when Teddy came in. So I think it has as much to do with the Joes as anything. And I know we can talk about specific Pep Hamilton things. Why the hell is Rex Burkhead in on 4th and 1? Why the hell are you designing plays for Rex Burkhead? Why are you running a shovel pass to Rex? The shovel pass was obviously they were trying to settle for a field goal, and it didn't work out. I didn't like the play. I think 3rd and 10. If you're tapping out at 3rd and 10, or you're doing a shovel pass, then that's on you. That's just dumb. There's no line of thinking there. So I can understand the knock on that. But as far as like the big picture of Pep Hamilton, I'm not as down on him as a lot of people. Now, when he says dumb stuff like he did about Davis Mills, might get in there. But Lovie's bit coaching, Pep Hamilton at certain times, I can understand. As far as Davis Mills goes, I thought he sucked. I know he finished strong. I thought he sucked. Like I thought it was a prime example of what we've seen from Davis Mills, where when there's no pressure on him, when it's just kind of like you're playing with house money, that's when he plays his best ball. The end of last year when there was no hope. But when, maybe you're still competitive and you're still trying to win, that's when Davis Mills struggles. That's when he goes on the road and throws 11 of his 12 interceptions. That's when you get down to a 21-0 lead, and then all of a sudden stuff goes out there. I'm not going to sit here and say that Davis Mills, until he does it when there's actually some pressure on him, I'm not going to sit here and say he looked great. That's what they're going to do. And maybe so. Maybe he builds on it. But I'm not going to sit here and pound the table for Davis Mills because he goes out there when there's no pressure and it looks like the game's already lost. He flings it around a little bit. F that. F that. There's too much kid glove stuff going on right now. Hit Nico Collins instead of intercepting it a couple of times. Score a point in the fourth quarter when it's a close game. Not this comfortable, there's a distance type of thing. So I thought he sucked. That's what I thought of Davis Mills. I thought he was terrible. Let's bring in my boys, Mike Meltzer and Cody Stutes. Fellas, I just talked about Pep Hamilton. I talked about Lovie Smith, one of the biggest displays of Greg Schiano-like big coaching at the end of the game that I think you'll ever see. And really the first time that I've been able to evaluate Lovie Smith, because you usually grade on a curve. You know, like there are certain times when it's not as simple as, oh, they've lost 3 games. Lovie Smith's a bad coach. Come on. It's a little bit of a process. But between blowing the timeout on the Chargers' fourth down, which could have been big, your defense going out there and looking lost on a play that shouldn't surprise anyone. I mean, the fake handoff and then throwing the flat. I mean, hell, they ran it to Rex Burkhead 2 quarters before. And then the weird ass, like, let's call a timeout when it's a 10-point game. And not only are we going to call a timeout, we're not calling a timeout to try to score. We're not throwing the ball. We're going to hand the ball to Dameon Pierce. Like, is there some sort of bonus or something like that? Like, is Lovie Smith in a fantasy league where how many yards did Dameon Pierce have? Dameon Pierce had 131. Is Lovie in like some fantasy league where you get bonus points for 135 yards? That's the only way that makes sense. And I might actually respect that. What the hell was he doing there? That was some bit coaching if I've ever seen it. I'm more mad about that than anything Pep Hamilton did.
How about Lovie Smith playing cover nobody defense? How about that? How the legendary cover 2 defense has now been replaced by the legendary cover nobody defense. Did Lombardi's grandson have to even show up today? Brandon Staley could have called the damn plays. I mean, Justin Herbert was damn near untouched throughout the course of the day. The guy's got a backup left tackle. His center barely made it through practice this week, and he's got a rookie right guard, and they barely touched Justin Herbert. They had 2 quarterback hits.
Yep.
I mean, and you had Mike Williams running free all day. You had Josh Palmer running free. Gerald Everett acted like a 40-year-old dad playing basketball with his 10-year-old son on basically every Texans defender, especially Jalen Petrie. That was an ass whooping by the Chargers offense on Lovie Smith's defense. That was a really poor defensive performance on top of all the head coachy stuff that you've done. And then in the post game, you got Lovie Smith saying, yeah, well, we thought that was the best play on 4th and 1. We thought that was the best play. You know, that was our play. Want to throw the pass, and then you got the quarterback when he's asked about it saying, "Yeah, well, we're a ground and pound team, so we wanted to surprise somebody and we wanted to throw the football." With the passing down back end, you wanted to surprise somebody? Good God, the management of this thing is just brutal at times.
I got a something nobody's talking about.
Okay. Don't oversell it there, Melty.
So at the University of Illinois, as you guys well know, Lovie Smith was 17-39 from 2016 to 2020, right? After yesterday, Brett Bielema, 5-7 last year, 4-1 this year at Illinois, doing a nice job where Lovie did not succeed. That is something nobody's talking about. Just
Brett Bielema's a better college coach than Lovie Smith. Thanks, Mike.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
nobody's talking about that.
Tony Yayo says Stutes is too harsh on the Texans.
Tony, what game you watching, bud?
Tony, they did not fold. They fought back.
Mike, that's the take you want to start with in your little air pilot jacket that you got on there, your little flyboy jacket. That's the take you want to come in here with. Lovie Smith sucked at Illinois. Come on, get out.
I'm just saying, nobody's talking about it.
See that, Mike? You said it, Mike. You said it. They're going to point to and be happy about we didn't quit. We got back into this game, and there's not going to be enough emphasis or conversation about how they got into that spot.
Well, what should the emphasis be on? I mean, the defensive performance was unacceptable, and what's frustrating to me is that Nick Caserio has brought back these veteran linebackers, Kirksey, Kamu Grugier-Hill, and to my eye,
Adam
the
Lopez
linebacker
says
play,
we need upgrades at linebacker. No kidding.
Yeah, I mean, the linebacker play is inept. They, between the run defense, which was a little better today, except in certain spots, but to me, linebacker play, like those play action plays like you had for wide open touchdowns with Eckler, that to me is on the linebackers more than it is the DBs. That to me is a combination of the talent and the coaching, and it's frustrating that Caserio has put this emphasis on some of these culture guys, and that has not borne into any fruition based on games like last week with the run defense, and then when you look at what Herbert was able to do, not even deep down the field, but in like that 15-yard box that is in front of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and people are asking about Harris. He can come back. I think October 3rd is going to be the first day. So tomorrow he'll be eligible. He's moving around fine. I mean, he's walking around and seems to be, I don't know, ready to go. But I wouldn't expect him to like be the savior in this situation. He's not really like he can tackle, but he's not like the run stopping guy that this team. You know what this team could use? They could use like a Bernard McKinney in his prime. Like,
he's out there.
Hold on. Aren't these guys supposed to be those kind of players light?
What?
Like, isn't that – I'm serious.
Christian Kirksey and Kamu Grugier-Hill are supposed to be Bernard McKinney in his prime?
Light, not in his prime because he had a contract.
Light as hell.
But, I mean, what is otherwise –
These guys are little, man.
Landry, what's the selling point on having those guys start?
Well, what do you
as
think
far
the
as
selling
what they
point
bring
is?
to the table?
It's a cult. Those are the culture guys.
So culture guys should tackle, right? They shouldn't miss tackles.
Yeah,
they should be good against the run.
You asked what the selling point to me, or what they're going to sell you? Because the selling point to you is
because the selling
to me.
point
I don't know. I don't.
Okay.
I'm surprised both of them are back.
Yeah, because the selling point is not, hey, these guys are going to cover tight ends down the field. Because anybody who's watched football knows those guys can't do that.
Well, the other thing is like if you're going to be small, like Kamu Grugier-Hill is, you need to be able to cover. I mean, because you're going to have your natural limitations against the run, but you're going to need to cover. He covers like Bernard McKinney. He doesn't stop the run like him, though.
He looks like one of those FCS linebackers trying to play against Bama on Saturdays. Like, he's slow, he's short, he's small. It's like, I bet you're awesome at your division, but you can't hang with these cats.
What do you think about the Pep Hamilton thing? Because look, man, like I get that there are things that we can point to and talk about with Pep Hamilton. I'm not to the point where I just think he looks inept. I think Davis Mills made him look bad on a couple of those throws. Like Nico Collins was wide open. Nico Collins should have probably finished this game with over 100 yards receiving. That's not Pep Hamilton's fault. Where do y'all sit on Pep Hamilton right now?
I mean, listen, it's not like he's a top 5 play caller, obviously, but my one issue with Pep was the obvious, which was the 4th and 1, where not only did Davis Mills get sacked, but even if there was no pressure on that play by Khalil Mack, you will notice that Rex Burkhead was completely covered on that play. So that was my one specific issue, that 4th down. But this to me was way more on Davis Mills than it was on Pep. Oh, the other one I want to throw out, which I know will be discussed and already has been, is first half, 3rd and 10, the give up shovel pass to Burkhead. They're
trying to accept the field goal, but on 3rd and 10, like that's attainable in any situation. There's not like it's not 3rd and 25. Like on 3rd and 25, if you want a shovel pass, that's cool. But on 3rd and 10, I mean, you should be able to throw and figure that out.
Yeah, take a shot. Take a shot.
Yeah, that's that. If that's a concede down, then you're in trouble.
Yes.
Look, especially on the plus trouble.
Especially on the plus side of the field. It's not like it's 3rd and 10 at your own 15-yard line. It's 3rd and 10 in their territory in that situation.
Pep Hamilton has been a victim of Davis Mills' poor play. It's like watching George Godsey fail with Brock Osweiler, because there have been plays like Pep Hamilton didn't get a phantom holding call that ruined the best connection Mills and Cooks had to date.
Man, that was Mills' best throw maybe ever.
Of the year, maybe.
Yeah, that was.
That was between two guys. That was a dart. That was the only place it could go. That was as good as it got. It got negated.
Pep Hamilton didn't drop an interception that would have had the Texans right back there with the football. Pep Hamilton didn't get a false start that turned a 3rd and 5 into a 3rd and oh God, we got a shovel pass. Like, Pep Hamilton was a victim of Davis Mills and some of the offensive linemen playing poorly early. And then, the 4th and 1, I hated it. Don't like it. I don't know why. I don't know why this team can't put 3 wide receivers on the field and put a tight end on the field and run the football. I don't know why they can't do that. I don't know why they don't do that. Dameon Pierce rarely gets 0 yards when he touches the football. Rarely. And you have 5 offensive linemen. They're missing their best defensive linemen. You have 5 offensive linemen that you're supposed to feel good about. Why can't you run up Laramie Tunsil's behind or Kenyon Green's behind? That's why Kenyon Green's here, to move somebody 2 yards so you're running back and get
and that's what he does well. And that's what he does well. Let's mention that too. He does it well.
That's why AJ Cann's here. Like, I get Scott Questenberry's probably not the way to. Okay, well, don't run it up the middle. They telegraph this stuff, and when they're not telegraphing it, they overthink it. They overthink it by trying to throw the ball. And for Davis Mills to go up there and say, "Well, we're going to try to catch the Chargers by surprise," you're not catching anybody by surprise. 28's in the backfield. They're loving the 28's right. I mean,
that's kind of a surprise, I would think, for them. I mean, if you're trying to catch him by surprise, I mean, I'm sure those defensive players are sitting there saying, damn, dude, we're going to have to bring down 31 here. They're probably surprised that Rex Burkhead's ass was out there. If you want to surprise them, that's the surprise.
Yeah, the surprise is going to be that easy.
that was rough. So, but I think overall, the slow start and the offense, it's more on Mills than it is on Pep. That's where I'm at on it.
Yeah,
without being sold at all on Pep Hamilton as a long-term play caller. That is where I'm at on October 2nd.
I'm not at all sold on Pep Hamilton. Like, I'm not at all sold on him. I'm not sitting here. All I'm saying is there are specific examples of him calling very good plays where just an NFL quality throw, not even a starting quarterback caliber throw, would result in a significant play. One of which was intercepted and one of which was floated over Nico Collins' head, and it resulted in all kinds of boos. So that's all I'm saying. I think Mills is more of a problem, and I know they're going to try to sell the finish, the Davis Mills finish, and whatever. I mean,
that's what David Culley talks about in the Rams game. That's not what coaches who are supposed to be much better and an organization is supposed to be in a better direction. That's not what they should be focusing on coming out of this game.
I'm actually more I'm more sympathetic to it. Like, listen, we understand Davis Mills' performance this season, including today, is not at the acceptable level. But I will give Mills credit in that in a game that he could have easily been benched down 21-0, he was at least able to have the short memory, bounce back, and get them back in the game after. No, hang on. I will give him credit for that.
He was good in the second half, but come on.
But I'm not. But within that sort of praise, I'm not saying like he is the answer. I'm just saying in a vacuum, give him credit. But what I saw in the third quarter into the fourth, I need to see that moving forward. Like, I need to see that against Jacksonville. I need to see that against Washington. I need to against the Raiders. Like, I need to see him take that and be able to basically use that as some sort of momentum moving forward. Because what happened, those first couple of possessions, that's not acceptable, and the whole season is not acceptable so far. Am I being too high? Am I being too high on Davis Mills?
No, I don't think you're being too high. It's
he can't play. He has yet to play a complete game.
No question.
He's yet to play a complete game, and that was something that he was fairly successful at in the conclusion of last year. Was playing a complete enough game that you can win a football game.
What complete games?
The Chargers game last year was a complete game.
Come on.
That could be one. Yeah.
He played complete football games where he did enough to get you in position to have a chance late in the year. That's why he's the quarterback this year, Landry. That guy's not there.
Okay, I guess I'll give you the Chargers game. And I mean, he did at the end of the first half. That was when they got what they get, like a holding penalty on the defense or something, and then he threw the dime to, who was it? Chris Moore, maybe?
That sounds right.
Who was it he threw it to at the end of the first half against Conley? Conley, yeah.
Yes.
It was Conley. It's okay. I haven't seen him play too many complete games, but
That's the point.
I mean, you made it seem like there was like a multiple time that happened.
Would be the one.
Landry, he showcased the ability to last year, and he hasn't done it this year. That's a big negative for him. That's one of the biggest negatives about him is he can't put together anything that he did last year, this year, and now the standard for because the defense is so horrible is he has to play a complete game, and he may not be capable of doing that.
Yeah, he's definitely not. And he's definitely not when they need it most, and when the pressure's the most, and there's less comfort. Like that's for sure. I mean, they had a chance to win this game.
How close are we to a benching overall? Because it got a little close.
I think
today.
He was close before the Pierce run.
Yeah, I think it was close.
I think before the Pierce run, I said it at the time that run was going to allow Davis Mills to relax and breathe a little bit,
settle down.
But if that never happens, I don't know if he finds his groove and kind of calms down like it appears that he did, relatively speaking.
Yeah, I think it's a week-to-week thing.
I mean, he's going on the road next week, so I mean, he doesn't play good on the road, and he's facing a Jacksonville team that is very much in the mix. And they had Philly down 14-0 today.
Is there any chance by the time they're playing their next home game that Kyle Allen is the starting quarterback?
Is there a chance?
Well, let's see.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's a chance.
For sure.
Okay. Is it more likely than not?
No, I don't think it's more likely than not.
I don't think it's more likely than not, but if there's a chance. I mean, I think he saved himself. If this would have continued like what we saw at the beginning, I think there was somewhat of a chance that he got benched. I don't think they'll admit that.
If he plays really poorly against Jacksonville with the bye week coming up, there's a chance they make the switch.
That would be which would be a real depressing switch to make, right? Like you're in year 2 of, I know I've been down this road, but like year 2 of a rebuild, Kyle Allen starting a quarterback, a guy who might be a decent backup, but he's 27 and he's been passed on to organizations that are in desperate need of a franchise quarterback. That would be a depressing watch to me. Maybe it'd be better. Who knows?
No, that wouldn't be exciting. I mean, that's basically, I mean, the only exciting thing about it is you would know for certain that you're getting a new guy next year, which you already know though.
Yeah, you probably know that at this point anyway. Yes.
And I mean, they know that.
Yeah, I think they know that. Yes.
Assuming that Bryce Young has an arm by next year. He's got to rest up.
I don't know how college football flipped on its head yesterday that Will Levis is all of a sudden the number 1 guy. Don't get that.
Well, he can throw it pretty. I need to see more. I just need to watch him play more to get a better sense.
Bryce
honestly
is the guy, man.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I mean, I also think it will be interesting. Like Ohio State plays all these like lousy teams after Notre Dame. It will be interesting to see C.J. Stroud against Penn State, eventually against Michigan. Like you'll get a chance to see CJ with those receivers against some actual real competition here.
By the way,
against Iowa, they'll play Iowa, who does have a really good defense, in 3 weeks. I mean, is he not in contention for a top 5 pick? Am I off here?
Don't ever tease an Iowa game in my presence.
CJ Stroud against Iowa's defense.
You're trying to put these fine people in the room to sleep? Shout out to all you people. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't ever let this dude just tease the damn Iowa game. What the hell is wrong with you? Trying to put people to sleep?
Landry, what you've got up here on the screen, what Juan's comment here is, it's one of those conversations that we need to have about this roster, about the situation that they're in. There is no help coming. What the roster is what the roster is. There is no help coming. The Texans cannot make a trade for somebody. They cannot sign any significant free agent that is still out there. Yep. There is no help coming. They don't have any money. Nick Caserio has spent all the money, the dead cap and all the cap management. There's nobody else. So basically the 76 or whatever guys they got in the building is it. So there's no help coming. There's nobody that they're going to, I mean, I think they could do one street free agent, but that's it. You can't trade for somebody, somebody's backup QB this or that, nothing. That what they've made their bed, they got to lie in it now.
Yeah, Tony Yayo says he likes Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams has to stay at least one more year after this year, so you're getting ahead of yourself there.
If you want to get really depressed or laugh,
I don't want to. No, I don't.
Go look. Stop. Cody mentioned the dead money. Go look at on Over the Cap. Go look at some of the guys who are on this list of dead money. It is hilarious Shaq Lawson, 5.257, Merciless 7, Randall Cobb,
man.
3.5.
Remember when Spencer Tillman said that Nick Caserio did an amazing job of the cap, and then he called in, and it was like, Spence.
He said it was one of the best off seasons ever.
Yep.
He said it was one of the best jobs he's ever done. And I was like, at that point, the wheels were so off and he was making himself look so silly. First of all, I said Tim Kelly was the top 5 play caller in the league. And I shouldn't have put the opinion and acted like it was like a real genuine opinion. So I was kind of a jerk there. I can admit that. But he tried to act like I was like twisting his words and try to take it different ways. But my point is, like, the cap nerds, like if you talk to Cap, like Texans Cap and these guys, Caserio did not do a good job with the salary cap.
Nope.
I can't break it down for you, but I'm just telling you, those guys thought it was awful. Awful.
Well, he intentionally cleared cap space last year to sign like 20 to 25 players, which would seem like you were trying to contend, and then they won 4 football games. And then this year, they're up against the cap. Now, the Watson thing obviously has a lot to do with it. Plus, Zach Cunningham's up there with nearly $13 million. But, I think it has not been good cap management. Thankfully, it'll be cleared up after this year. But, yeah, they up until Friday, and Cody was on this, like, they were operating one player short. Literally, they had a 52-man roster.
Yes.
Yeah, and then they added Graylin Arnold to the equation today.
Yep,
or
they did.
Saturday.
Made
So
Brooks look bad after his article.
So,
yeah, that was odd timing.
I think they did that to say, screw you, Brooks.
I know, right?
Here's our 53. How about that, you nerd? Way to waste. You already wasted enough print doing a whole damn piece on the 53-man roster. Now take that. Not only did you waste it, it's even more wasted.
Now,
that was a Brooks Cabina signing.
I believe they could. I believe they could get a couple of bucks back if Justin Britt would just retire.
Yeah, that would be nice.
They get a few bucks back on that.
Is that ever going to happen?
The argument is that probably he shouldn't have been on the team.
Respect his privacy, Mike.
So are they going to bitch Kirksey or Camus Grugier-Hill? Blake Cashman was playing early on. He got his bell rung, so he's probably not in the equation anytime soon.
Boy, these linebackers. Is that the worst position group?
Yes. I thought I wrote about this after the game today.
Mike, you think it's worse than the running back top to bottom?
Yes.
Because they don't have anybody good.
Who do you point to?
Well, I mean, because you got to evaluate. Like, if you have a running back who's good, like Pierce, then yeah, like
they have nobody who's good.
There's no bright spots.
Yeah, none at this point. None. I mean, Grugier-Hill was better last season than he's been this year. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Well, what did you expect?
That's a good question. I expected, I guess, the run defense to be a little better. I don't know what that's a great question. What did I expect?
Well, here's the thing. Like you know how God, what was that guy's name? God, I forget. I don't know why I'm Terrell Adams.
Yes.
Remember when Terrell Adams had that one good year and everyone was like, "Oh, you can't let Terrell Adams go. What are you doing?" And then even like King Bill and then let him go, and he like never did anything afterwards. So at least they knew that. And God, I can't believe I'm saying this with Caserio. Now maybe Caserio wouldn't do this in like if this were like a 2018, 2019 type of team or something. Or whenever Terrell Adams played, but maybe it was 2020. I don't remember, but it is kind of funny that Camus Grugier-Hill and Kurt was kind of this same thing, and they decided to bring him back.
They gotta play different linebackers next week.
Wait, what?
They got to start mixing it up. I agree with that.
They got to play different linebackers.
I think Christian's going to be active next week if I had to bet.
I would if they do
Christian Harris, not
if he's not active next week, then it's the Raiders game before we see him. Like that's forever. He'll have
maybe they'll want him to have the extra week. I don't know.
I mean, at this point, like,
how
why
long
not
does a hamstring injury last?
At this point, why not throw in Reeves Maben, Garrett Wallow, those kind of guys?
How about the kid they kept that's the undrafted free agent from Illinois?
Jake Hansen?
Yeah.
Would y'all like to see what someone sent me today? Speaking of Reeves Maben, Mike's about to lose it. I already know the Mike Meltzer laugh here.
Okay.
Today's the first
day. Are you ready for this? You sure?
Before you say that about Reeves Maben, I would say today is the first day that I realized he actually plays and was on the team. Like I knew his name was on the team, but
Meltz is going to lose this.
I could not recall one moment that I could remember Reeves Maben having made a play.
Mike, are you ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
This is made for you. Okay. Someone sent me to this. They were at the team shop.
Wow. I don't know what to do with that. I have no idea what to do with that. That is bizarre. Like, that is a family and friends only product if I've ever had one.
They have Jalen Reeves-Maben jerseys in the team store?
Yes.
And I didn't know
amazing.
about this. I got to run down there and get me one. I thought I was going to have to special order that, but if I can just go down to NRG and go get it, well, heck, save me the shipping.
That's one of those jerseys. It's funny. It's like if you wear one around town, you know that like 98% of
It's
people
his family.
No, they're like assuming that it's a customized jersey for you.
Yeah, they're assuming that there's it's either probably 92% of people that are wearing Reeves-Maben jerseys are his family, and the other 8% you assume it's customized.
Yeah, I would assume it's customized. Yes. God. If most people don't know who he is, so they're gonna assume it's customized.
We do have a final with the Raiders. The Raiders did win, so the Texans right now in the standings for the number one pick. Texans are number one.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Give me that Dr. Pepper commercial. Give me some national recognition right now. Give me that Bryce Young. Put him on the banner, shoulder pads being held. Draft Bijan Robinson afterwards, and then get a wide receiver in the second. And let's just we might need some linebackers. All right, back that up. Just give me Bryce Young, and then we can cuss and discuss as it goes on.
I got a question for you guys, like a serious question, because I'm looking at Tankathon.
Wait, is it serious?
No, it's serious. Yeah. How many and what teams do you genuinely think are in competition for the number one pick? Because I'm looking at this and
Raiders are not. There's no way. The Raiders, even in a worst case scenario, first of all, I think they get back in the playoff mix. I think they're really good.
I don't think
the Raiders aren't in it.
I don't think New Orleans is great, but I don't think they're in competition for the number one pick either. I think
you're wrong.
I
think you're wrong about that.
They might
really.
That thing is got fall apart potential all over it. Their defense is really old.
Bad.
They're already on offense.
But they play in that lousy division. Like, they have a bunch of chances for wins in that division too. Like, I think they're more like.
Don't you think they're lousier than the other teams?
They're loud.
The Falcons have twice as many wins as them.
Well, they've got one win.
And the Falcons have been in the mid. Like, the Falcons can actually say they're close with a straight face.
Yeah, listen, I think the Falcon win and what Seattle has done is a real boon to Houston, because I thought heading into the season, Atlanta and Seattle were going to be in competition for that top pick. I actually have a Falcons under 4.5 that's sitting in my room back there.
That Seattle win was low-key big, and I don't like to use the word low-key when it doesn't make sense, because you punk kids have started doing it now, and it doesn't make sense. But, that was a big win for the Texans, that Seattle win today. Big.
Well, that's why I asked this question, because Pittsburgh's 1-3, they lost to the Jets. I don't think Pittsburgh. They're not, but I don't think Pittsburgh's in competition for the number one pick. Washington, I think might be.
Someone says Atlanta, Seattle, and Philly. What Philly team are you watching? We didn't say Super Bowl. We said top pick.
Philly has the Saints pick.
Oh yeah, Philly has
the Saints pick. That's what he must be referring to.
If the draft,
holy crap! What trade was that again?
That was the
Chris Olave move up.
Yeah, and I love Olave, but that's gonna end. That's gonna end up looking bad.
God, so you're telling me the Eagles are going to be probably in the top 10?
The Eagles will likely have a top 10 pick and could have. Depending on how this shakes out, because by the way, Houston needs a quarterback, Carolina needs a quarterback.
Sorry, sir. Sorry,
Washington needs a quarterback, and so
the Lions.
And Indianapolis needs a quarterback, and the Lions.
Philly got New Orleans pick.
Yep,
Howie Roseman, man, Howie Roseman.
Oh my God!
If New Orleans is as bad as we believe them to be, Philadelphia likely will be the first team picking a non-quarterback, and they'll probably get Will Anderson.
Well, we got a long way to go. I'm wondering, I have a team I'm
already
curious
talking about the freaking quarterbacks in the draft. We do have a long way to go.
What if New Orleans gets the number one pick and then Philly gets Will Anderson to put him with Davis and Fletcher Cox?
That would be fun.
Seems kind of unfair.
No, it wouldn't.
What that would not be fun. It means the Texans won 2 games and leaves a quarterback for them to pick.
I got one for you. How about this team? 1, 2, and 1. The Indianapolis Colts.
I mentioned them as a team that needs a quarterback.
But I mean, how bad can they be this season if everything really goes to hell for them?
If
Like,
the
how
Colts
bad
go
can it
bad,
get?
Like the worst.
The worst.
I would say
Well, they got one win on their schedule.
4 wins.
Yeah, I'm kind of there too because I just think they have too much talent to win 2 to 3 games. I think that's unrealistic.
Well, Jonathan Taylor's hurt.
Yeah.
So Jonathan Taylor's hurt. Their stud linebacker, Shaquille, formerly Darius Leonard, is hurt.
Michael Pittman's banged up.
Michael Pittman's already hurt. Matt Ryan's washed.
He's a ghost.
Offensive line stinks.
Yeah, I'm glad they spent $1 gazillion on a guard. Good luck making that pay off, idiots.
You love that. I mean, I just think it's the right time to really take inventory because we're 4 weeks into this. The Texans will obviously be in competition for the number 1 pick. Carolina, that Saints pick, Washington. I think the Lions, because they play so
Carolina
hard,
just strikes me as a team that's gonna like.
Wait, what did you just say, Mike, about the Lions? They play hard.
Yeah, they play hard. Yeah,
they suck.
I'm not saying they're good, but they're in
suck.
these
Their
wacky.
coach is such a phony.
They're in these wacky games.
That guy's playing a role like people like if somebody wrote football guy for like a role for a TV show, that'd be Dan Campbell. You know who's an actual football guy? People like Sean McVay. Those are actual football guys. People like Dan Campbell are fossils. You shouldn't hire those guys. They play hard. They gave up 48 points to the Seahawks.
But they also scored a lot of points themselves as well.
They played real hard. Dan Campbell's hand-picked defensive coordinator.
Well, that might be an issue. Aaron Glenn might, and I love Aaron, but he may not be very good at that job.
Tony Yayo says Chris Ballard is overrated by media types. I mean, he drafted Darius Leonard in the second round. He drafted Jonathan Taylor in the second round. He drafted Michael Pittman in the second round. He just hasn't been able to get a quarterback. I mean, it's not his fault that Andrew Luck retired. He wasn't the one that was, putting Chuck Pagano in charge of things and ignoring the offensive line. Andrew retired on him. So I don't think he's overrated. I just don't think he's been able to find a quarterback. And I don't know what opportunities they've really had, but I think he's good. I don't think he's like the end all be all. I definitely don't think he's that bad.
They tried to trade for Watson.
Yes, they did.
They called about it.
That's a good point. Yeah,
that's
a fact.
But the Carson Wentz trade
was
bad, although they kind of flipped that too, the Carson Wentz. So
yeah, I mean that was bad for a year, but they quickly realized their mistake. But it doesn't seem like they it doesn't seem like they've upgraded, certainly.
It's bad for a year right in the middle of their competition window.
They would have been better off with the carcass of Phillip Rivers last year and this year is kind of how it feels to me, honestly. I thought he was pretty decent 2 years ago.
I mean, he was.
Like, he was decent. They were in the playoffs, could have won the playoff game.
I hate to bring it back to a very underperforming football team, but how come the defensive linemen can't stop anybody? I mean, we talk about the linebackers, but how come Roy Lopez and Malik Collins and Kurt Heinisch can't stop anybody? When's the last time there were
two holdings on a defensive lineman? When's the last time there were two holding calls on defensive linemen?
That's a dumb call. I don't like that. I
feel like that's an every time thing.
I've also only ever seen it called in a Texans game.
And those were key penalties in that situation. One of them wiped out a tackle for loss by Petrie, I think. Maybe we overrated this defensive line. Like, people seem to think that they had, some decent players up there. But yeah, I mean, 4 games in, run defense has been putrid. And here's another point. Like, Grenard, for how well he played last season, has to produce more in year 3.
Pass rush, non-existent.
Like, listen, in this game, think about this.
Like, how good Chargers, Grenard was.
The Chargers are without one of the best left tackles in football. They play a guy, Sawyer, at left tackle who basically played guard at Georgia. You have to find a way to take advantage of that. And as Cody mentioned like 20 minutes ago, 1 sack, 2 quarterback hits against a team that is playing without its left tackle.
They did not get a sack. So,
yeah. Well, I have one. I have on the stat sheet a half between Rasheem Green and Thomas Booker.
They are not credited in an official NFL game tracker. But
is ESPN off on this? What the hell?
I'm officially team ignore receivers and go running backs next year. I want to.
What is this? 1985?
Pretty much.
What?
pretty much.
Whether
it's Bijan
ignore
Robinson,
receivers?
A-Chain,
No.
Gibbs, whatever.
No.
I have a question.
I want an array of young backs.
Landry.
That's a horrible.
Why
I
not?
want an array of backs.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Why not do what the Jets did and take 2 running backs in the middle round?
What is with you people acting like the Jets are like some blueprint?
No,
like,
I'm not saying I'm not saying they're
I hear
good.
this all the time. Like Bieniemy was talking about Joe. Why copy the Jets?
How about the team that you just?
Joe Douglas has them in position. Position for what? To win 6 games and act like they're building progress and kill time with Zach Wilson?
How about
you should do what the Jets did? Screw the Jets.
The Chargers. The Chargers, when they needed one, they went to their first-round wide receiver today, Mike Williams.
Yeah,
when they needed one,
third down conversions.
They went to their guy. They went to their guy.
Yeah.
Running backs. What is this? The 60s?
No,
You win throwing the football. You win throwing the football.
They have 2 first-round picks. They're going to have another high second-round pick like they had this year. Why not just take a running back with that high second-round pick?
I just want a 2-piece combo. Bijan Robinson in the slot, 2-piece combo.
But this goes against everything that you stand for, though. You for years have talked about how you can find running backs in the middle rounds.
I've never said that. I've never said that.
You have talked about running backs in the second round and third round all the time. I remember
second's not the middle.
You talk about Alvin Kamara and J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah,
and
second and third.
And now you're advocating for a first-round running back?
That's second and third. Yes. If at this point
Terrible.
they have so many holes, a running back can mask it. They need someone that can make immediate impact at some point. Like you can get these long-term pieces. They need someone that can make an immediate impact. Running backs do it. Give me some running backs.
The second best skill position player is a 4th-round rookie. He's the running back.
That's an exception. That's an exception.
I don't think it is an exception.
Well,
actually,
but hold on.
Now Eckler was undrafted. Go ahead and say Eckler was undrafted. But other than that, second round's that money.
You can't talk about the all around the league.
Oh, you're making the rules what I can talk about now.
No,
oh, wow.
But if you're moving. Okay, what's up, goalpost? Can I find the goalpost here? Because Landry keeps moving them. You can't talk about what the rest of the league does and then act like first-round running backs have been a successful option in the rest of the league.
I'm not saying whether they're successful or not. I'm saying they should be drafted in the second, and these are some good running backs. On this team, you can mask a lot of flaws by having very, very good running backs. At some point, they
don't have any wide receivers.
That's fine, but why not just take one in the second round? That's still a pretty high pick.
Yeah, second round's fine. I'm good with that. But if Bijan Robinson's there in like 20, I think Bijan Robinson's worth taking.
Well, you'll have picked both your picks by then. If he's there in the 20s, you'll have the Texans.
So Cleveland's going to be in the teens?
Absolutely, Cleveland's going to be in the teens. I'll bet you on it right now.
No, I'm not going to bet. I hope you're right.
Cleveland's going to be in the teens.
I have a question. Am I wrong to be a little optimistic about Nico today? Just because
game. He should have had 120 yards receiving. Davis Mills floated over his head twice. It was a perfect play call. One was an interception. One was a sailed over.
Yeah, I mean the play that the 58-yarder it wasn't just like he just used his body. It was he legitimately beat J.C. Jackson by 2 or 3 yards on that play.
Twice. He beat him 3 times. He beat him multiple times, and Mills only hit him on one.
Yeah, so I am more, even though I've been pretty down on Nico the first couple of weeks, today is one of those days where I kind of sit back. I'm like, maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh, and maybe they do need to feed him the ball a little bit more to kind of see what they have there. Yeah, he was good. I mean, he had a good game today. It didn't show up in the stat sheet, but he had a very good game today. Nico did. Yes, we agree on that. The tight end, they are thin at tight end. Like they are Manute Bol thin at tight end. Akins is a better player than Brevin Jordan. I don't even consider the Brevin Jordan injury a big deal at this point because I think even if Brevin Jordan were healthy, Jordan Akins could be active over him anyways. But other than that, like that was another interesting one. And look, he got me in training camp and really he hasn't been awful, but I was shocked that Pharaoh Brown was back. I was kind of surprised that Pharaoh Brown was back. On the team, you mean? Yeah, they're going to have to figure something out at tight end for sure. They're going to have to find some because that's a need. That's a need for them. They really need next year might need to be, well, you can't really like focus on one side, but they do need to at least give some sort of attention, whether it's the running backs, the receivers, whatever. They do need to give like some attention to the offense next year because they really Mechie had a torn ACL when they drafted him. So that was kind of like a long-term play anyways. But they need to give the
offense some sort of attention next year outside of O-line. And I know they got Green and I know they got Pearson the fourth. I'm talking like premium picks.
Well, and also I think with some of the cap space that you're going to have, you'd like to target, because people are always obsessed with,
man. It's expensive though.
Yeah,
like
okay,
on free agency.
Sure, but people are always talking about this stuff on social media about like, oh God, like you need to have like the perfect situation to invest in the new quarterback. Well, they're going to have $50 million in cap space. Obviously, it'll go up from there. Like part of that is you can just bring in players using that cap space at receiver, at tight end. Like those are legitimate needs. We've had significant cap space used on basically Jags the last 2 years. Let's invest them on guys who can help out whoever the quarterback is in 2023.
Now, would you say significant cap space, or would you say there was no cap space to use?
You think there's any chance that wide receiver run in the first round took somebody they were going to take, and that they would have had a corner and a wide receiver as their first 2 picks, and not a corner and an offensive lineman?
I mean, those guys did go. I mean, and maybe that's why they traded back.
Let me look at this,
because four wide receivers went off the board before they were up at 13.
Okay, so
Drake London, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, and Jamison Williams. It feels like they would have been more okay with Jamison Williams at 13 than Mechie in the second round.
They clearly like SEC guys, and they clearly are willing to draft a receiver that was hurt. So,
well, and I guess
maybe they like Jamison.
The Lions must have had some sort of intel to make them go specifically to 12 to draft Jamison Williams. Yeah, I think it's a possibility. It feels like they didn't want to take the 5th best wide receiver instead of what they thought was the best offensive guard. And so, and then they ended up with a wide receiver, because remember, they traded up for Mechie. So they ended up with a wide receiver in the second round because the 4 wide receivers went off the board before they picked in the first round.
Maybe.
I think it's decent speculation. I don't know.
Decent, not good, but decent.
No, it's good speculation. I'm being. I should have credited Cody's opinion more. I think it's fair speculation. They like SEC players. They value speed, and they clearly, as Landry mentioned, they have no issue waiting on a guy coming off of an injury, which Jamison Williams would have been.
Man, I'm glad Stingley was okay too. Goodness gracious. I mean,
they acted that looked like there was nothing big in the post game.
Yeah,
well,
that
he was
like
walking fine.
Forearm.
After the game, he didn't like have it wrapped up or anything. He seemed okay.
Yeah,
so that was a scary moment.
He looked like he was in some pain on the field.
I'll be honest, I was happy. I was happy it was above his waist. If I'm being honest, like when they said Stingley's down, it's easy for me to say, but I was glad it was above the waist.
He had Mike Williams wrapped up, and then one of the linebackers came in to put an extra hit on Williams as he's being tackled already. Yep. And instead of hitting Williams flush, he just connects with Derek Stingley's arm. And I thought he broke it. It doesn't seem like that's the case, but it looked nasty in the moment, but then he was right back out there with the sleeve on.
Nelson had a tough game today. This was probably his worst game.
This was the worst game for the secondary by far.
Yeah, like no before I watch the tape, I'll go coach. Before I watch the tape.
Herbert had a QBR of 90.5 in this game. He played very well.
That low,
really well.
That what?
That low, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Scale is 100, by the way. For those who don't know, that's 1 to 100 or 0 to 100.
Let's play some word association. I'm going to put a name on the screen, and I want you guys to give me one word to summarize what you think of this guy 4 weeks into the season.
Meltzer, you go first.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Mediocre.
Underachieving.
Short-handed.
Is short-handed one word? I thought we were
you hyphenate it. You hyphenate it. It counts as one. Lovie Smith. I called him a bit coaching, but yeah, Lovie Smith.
Disappointing.
Underachieving.
Really?
The defense stinks, man. He's the coach of the defense. Does he need to give up defense? Does he need to give up defensive play calling?
One word for Lovie, I would say bit. Like, there's a lot of bit stuff going on with him. Like the hardo bit coaching. There's a little bit that comes with him. All right, Davis Mills.
Disaster.
Very disappointing.
That's 2
I know
words, sir.
I know that's 2 words. I was trying to
And
Oh, no,
hyphenate
just
that one there.
hyphenate it, Mike.
Nah, you can't hyphenate that one.
Yeah.
Trash. Just trash. Just hadn't been good. It's been terrible. What about the defense?
The defense, I would say unwatchable.
Porous. There's a lot of holes.
Yeah, Cody's is better than mine.
I know it's.
I might be a little
better than yours.
harsh.
I'll say
Porous.
all right. I mean, I didn't expect much from them. They've been
All
right.
right. All right.
The team's been in games. I mean, giving up rushing yards isn't that huge of a deal these days. Like in the NFL, they're fine.
You know what's funny? I don't know.
They're
if
not
you guys
good. They're not good. But what am I supposed to expect them to be?
I don't know if you guys have
Middle of the
observed
pack,
this.
Not last year's defense.
It's not last year's defense.
Have you guys observed
It's not.
that?
Come on, this is not last year's defense.
They're doing the same things, Landry. There's no pass rush.
Yeah,
There's
but they
no
hold up better than last year's defense.
There's no
Like
pass
they'll at
rush,
least
and they can
occasionally
be
hold
run on
someone to
whenever.
3.
And the linebackers still stink. The defensive linemen still stink. They're basically last year's defense.
Figgy Figs in here. He says Mike sucks with one words.
He is correct. Yes. Yeah. They pay me to use my words, but I'm not good with one word to come up with something.
Mike's really smart, but this is not the way to execute with his smartness.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. The Texans coming into this game were 17th in DVOA, and they were 9th against the pass.
That's good.
Screw
That's
DVOA.
good, Cody. That's good. What do you mean screw DVOA?
Yeah,
Screw DVOA.
the bad take by you. Bad take.
Screw DVOA.
They were DVOA.
Hey,
that's what my eyes tell me. This defense is better than last year's. Yes, DVOA. Thank you. 17.
Do you guys observe that people
17th in DVOA? That's my next shirt.
Your eyes
That's
tell
my
you
next shirt. 17th in DVOA.
Your eyes tell you this is the 19th best rushing defense in football?
The 19th best rushing defense?
Isn't that what
Mike
just said?
No. Hang on. So I want to make this clear. Heading into this game, they were 17th overall, 9th against the pass, and 30th against the run.
Okay, gotcha.
That fits the eye test.
Yeah.
That fits the eye test.
Better than last year. Hashtag better than last year, Stutes.
And part of that is,
the secondary is slightly improved, and they're a little bit better because Derek Stingley and Jalen Petrie are nice players, and Owens has overachieved, and Steven Nelson's been a nice addition. But the other 7 guys that are on the field are basically the same thing from last year.
Yeah, and that's the same situation with the offense. That's why I didn't expect a lot of improvement for now. I'm not trying to insult Pierce, but I mean the man can only do so much. Also, like I don't want to. I hate doing this, so I'm not going to do it. But I already went down this path, so I might as well. Did Pierce have a misleading day today because he had the 175-yard run?
He had 20 touches, and 15 of them went for 1 or negative yards.
Yeah, I mean he had 14 carries for 131. So.
The stuff through the air was incredibly inefficient.
So 13 for 61 on the other carries.
Here's what I think it is. Like Dameon
right.
Pierce. Here's what it is. Dameon Pierce is a good player.
That's why I still think they need another running back. I think he's a change of pace. That's why I'm so emphasizing the running back, because I think if you can make Dameon Pierce your second best running back, you can run the football.
Yeah,
you can absolutely. You can run the football at a high level if you make him. In this upcoming draft, you can do that.
He averaged 4.3 yards a carry without the long run.
Yeah.
It was this way.
If the Packers used another second-round pick after drafting Aaron Jones, then you can certainly keep investing. Dameon Pierce is a good player, but Arian Foster was in a different universe as a running back. You could build your offense around Arian Foster. You can't build your offense around Dameon Pierce. No. He's a good player, a heck of a find, but he is a piece, ideally, of a good offense, but he is not the foundation of a good offense.
And you can't run him into you can't run him into the ground.
Which they haven't. They have not.
They haven't. Well, I mean, I don't know. What was that last carry, really? Did Lovie need 135 for a bonus in his fantasy league?
What
was that?
I don't know. I mean, you look at this 46 carries through 4 weeks. I think that's a pretty reasonable pace.
How many yards?
Sorry, I need to get this update. He's over 300 after today.
Okay.
So let me do this math.
Damn, so he's on pace for over a GER.
Yeah, so
I bet McClain he wouldn't have 1,000. I'm gonna have McClain hundo.
60 carries so far, which puts him at a pace of about like 250 or so on the season.
It's a lot.
If he stays healthy.
It's a lot.
It's a bunch.
For him, that's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, he's 218 pounds.
What does that
better
mean?
get Rex some rushes.
Oh God.
Do Petrie and Stingley and Nelson and Owens, they ever get a break? Are they just going to play them every snap, every game?
Well, it's hard in the secondary to rotate in a lot of guys. It's not like the front seven, right? You want to roll with your best guys.
Yeah, but I mean, they don't need to be playing 100% of the snaps. Also, MJ Stewart celebrating while the ball was on the ground after he caused the fumble is one of the most incredible things I've ever seen from a Houston Texans player.
But they recovered it anyways. So what's your
they
point?
did.
Yeah.
I just think it's
He
hilarious.
knew they had it. He knew they had it. Don't try
That's
to make
not
him
what
sound
happened.
like he's Bill
That's not what
Grammatica.
happened.
Don't try to make
That's
him
not what
sound
happened.
like he's
He got up and did the
yeah.
He got up, did the Undertaker, and the ball's still like flailing around on the ground.
Because he knew they had it. He knew they had it.
They didn't have it. They had to fight for it.
He knew they had it. You know, hey, if y'all want to laugh your ass off, I love Laramie Tunsil, man. I really love Laramie Tunsil. Dude, go watch the fumble that they almost lost where Titus Howard got hurt and watch Laramie Tunsil on the play. He literally just slides and gets away from the pile, and he sits there and watches, and then he slides and watches again, and then he points. But every single person dove on the pile, and if you watch Laramie Tunsil, he did everything in his power to not even touch anyone in the pile, and he's like pointing afterwards. I love Laramie Tunsil. Not saying it's great, but my goodness, he is a businessman.
He's not here to recover fumbles,
Go
friend.
watch it, for real. Go watch it. You'll laugh your ass off. Go watch the Laramie Tunsil on the fumble. It's absolutely hilarious. I wish I could pull it up right now. I just don't have like the timestamp. It is funny.
That's the fourth quarter one after MJ Stewart had recovered the ball.
Yes.
Or after MJ Stewart forced the fumble and Jalen Reeves-Maybin made the first play of his
Why,
Texas
do you have the
career.
game taped or something?
Well, no, I have NFL Plus.
I can't even log into mine, by the way.
Man, if you could see that Laramie Tunsil play, he is avoiding that. He knows what he is doing, and I respect the hell out of him for it.
I'm excited about this. You're gonna get my
just wait.
You're gonna get my live reaction.
I'm not overselling this. I promise.
You're gonna get my live reaction. So that happened with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
They were going to the left. So yeah.
It happened with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Let's see if I can get it here.
Dude, I'm telling you, Laramie is a smart business guy. What do you want me to do? Dive for it? With Major League, Roger Dorn?
Roger Dorn style.
I don't even know how to pull up that play. Figgy's telling me to pull it up. I don't know how to pull it. I think you can, Stoots. Do you have a share down low?
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right now. Hold on.
But can you pull it up?
I think you should be able to. There's a little share button down there.
Yeah, push share.
I gotta find the play first, gentlemen. Give me a damn break here.
Pull share and then put share screen.
Fair.
And then put tab.
Share.
So that people
share screen.
Yeah. And then tab.
Okay.
Pull a tab and then you'll go up to the right.
A Chrome tab. Okay.
Yeah, pull up your Chrome tab and then just put it on. There it is. All right.
Okay.
Here. Oh, yes. Dude, you are about to laugh your asses off.
Can you see it?
Yeah,
I can see
we got
it.
it.
Yeah?
It's on there. You go. Dude, just
Okay.
wait for this. Trust me. I'm not overselling this.
Okay. Let's see here. Good job by Kenyon. Good job by Kenyon.
Watch Laramie. Watch Laramie. Look at him. Oops. Get away. Oh, there it is again. I'm not going to jump though. There we go. We got it.
He ran like there was like a circle of like
he
lava
ran, and when
that.
as the pile gets closer to him, he steps back. Watch this, man. It's the best. Watch this. Oh, fumble.
Kenyon,
oh, no.
OJ, Akins.
Oh, I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna do that. Point. And Titus is hurt, and he's just walking back.
Kenyon, OJ, and Akins are all diving for it. Laremy Tunsil
Look,
gets further.
I've never seen so many people diving, and Laramie's just sitting there like,
All right, so here's the play again. We'll watch Kenyon Green get a welcome to the NFL.
Watch
moment
everybody dive.
Jerry
Literally, everybody
Tillery.
dives. Everybody dives and watch Laramie. And he steps. Here he goes.
All right, so Titus is basically dead at this point.
Look at all of
dive,
them. OJ
dive,
Howard,
dive,
Akins
dive.
dives.
You have 4 dives and Tunsil's nowhere near it. And they're
he's
just like,
pulling up
yeah.
his pad, walking back.
Yes. Pulling up his arm like he's getting ready to start beating somebody else up in a WWE ring. Oh, man.
The best, and I was talking about this in the locker room, the best thing about Laramie Tunsil is that, first of all, like, if this were like something that it would suck because you want all your guys to be diving, obviously. I respect the business decision because I respect like the business aspect of it. But what amuses me the most about Laramie Tunsil is he's the opposite of what Bill O'Brien said he stood for.
Yes.
Like he's the complete opposite of what Bill O'Brien says that he stood for. And Bill O'Brien gave up like a ransom to get Laramie Tunsil. And I think it just kind of just adds to the stupid factor of Bill O'Brien. Like the guy who Bill O'Brien would have loved was Trent Williams. Trent Williams would play with a broken leg.
Yep.
But he's just
you
too
could have gotten
long
him
view
for much
him.
cheaper.
He's too long view though. Like he's got too much long view in him for BOB. He doesn't like that kind of swagger, that kind of South stuff, like the long view in him. Like he can't do that. But that would have been like, and he went for way cheaper. That would have been the guy that Bill O'Brien would have absolutely loved. And that's like a leader, like Trent Williams. But Tunsil, I love it. I think it's great. But man, he wasn't diving for that. he almost didn't want to get his foot touched.
Well, yeah, those are nice shoes. You don't want to scuff them.
Legend, dude.
Fair.
Absolute legend. That's where we're at, though. Time to start looking at the draft. But, guys, I appreciate y'all. If y'all got anything more.
Laramie's playing, I just want to say, Laramie's playing really well.
He is playing good.
And so if somebody wants to come get him, they should listen.
Yeah, that'll be a big organizational decision for them.
Yeah,
what they do there.
He's playing really good.
Yep. Really good. Really good.
So I'll give him that. Anything else y'all want to add? Did we miss anything? We covered Lovie. We covered Pep. We covered Mills. We covered Pierce. We covered the linebackers. We covered the secondary. Stutes thinks the defense is the same. Stutes is an idiot.
Landry wants to draft the first-round running backs. Landry's an idiot.
Damn right.
Yep. Landry's running this like it's the 1980s.
Have you seen these running backs that are coming out? Ooh,
are they that good? Like what am I missing here?
Robinson.
Yeah, he's good.
A-Chain.
I mean, okay.
Be my guest to draft that guy in the first round.
No, not the first. Robinson's
These are like nice.
Yeah. Robinson's the only one I want in the first. Okay. But in the second, I would take A-Chain. I don't know what Gibbs is going to be, but damn, he looks pretty good at Bama.
So Gibbs is interesting because he is a
Gibbs is Alvin Kamara.
Gibbs is somebody who is a weapon out of the backfield, as you saw against Arkansas.
Yeah. Maybe Bijan and Gibbs, like in the back of the first round.
I'm so excited to talk draft when it gets to draft season and not hopefully during the regular season.
Shut up, Stutes.
I'm just like when like 2023 and 2024 and 2025 get here. Yeah. That's what I'll be. I mean, I'll be excited about that.
Yeah, if they could finish a game, we wouldn't have to do it. This was the last thing I wanted.
Yes. Also, though, if you like
this.
If you like Landry, he does a lot of college football content on the channel. Subscribe to the channel.
I do.
Fair.
I do. Went off on Brett Venables yesterday.
I stole your take when I was on Mad Dog Radio yesterday.
How insecure of a hire it was?
Yeah. There's a good analogy to it, but I said it's like if you're like dating a girl out of your league and then she leaves you and you're like heartbroken and you decide, you know what I'm going to do?
No.
I'm going to date the girl I've been on and off with for like 10 years in my hometown. Like we know it's not going to work, but it's like comfortable and we're lonely.
But it's even worse because it would almost be like if I don't know, like if Johnny Depp got left because the girl liked Brad Pitt. Like OU, like the one place where the coach would leave you. Like we're not talking about U of H where you're just losing coaches and it drove Fertitta nuts, but like he went to USC, man. Like
Yes.
he got a nice house, he got a great job, he got all, like he went to USC and they acted like, oh well, we need someone who just bleeds crimson and oh he would never leave us and we weren't tough enough, so we need to be tough and blah, 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 blah,
They got to
blah.
bleed crimson and cream, and now they get creamed on Saturdays.
Yeah. And with that said, they're favored against Texas. Whatever. Didn't mean to do that. But yeah, SEC, Big 12, we get that going. So subscribe to the channel, get some national stuff going. These are the guys that always usually join me for post games. So when I say running back, I mean just Bijan Robinson, maybe Gibbs. But yeah, I'm just.
They're not
Really?
favored against Texas. Texas is a 6-point favorite.
Oh, I
Yeah,
saw it at 3.
That line's been
I saw it
kind
at
of
3.
all over the place.
So it
Like,
changed?
checking.
Then they must have
Texas-
just tried to bait folks.
Texas is a 6-point favorite.
They must have
Hold
tried to
on.
bait folks. I'll take it. Hey, good. The one I looked at said 3.
ECU also a 6-point favorite. Ooh, that's teaser central written all over it right
Jesus
there.
Christ.
That's
Yeah, I've got
teaser
it. I've got
central.
it. A Texas favored by 6. Yep.
Hey, you know what else though on the analogy, Mike?
Don't
That
ever
I
double check my work like that again, Mike.
like if I'm self-evaluating myself,
Yes.
and we're like doing like a psychology thing right now, I feel like the way that I'm talking about running backs right now might be like if you dated like a girl that was like if you dated multiple girls that were Christian, and then all of a sudden you just wanted to date only atheists because they've just neglected the running back position so much that now I'm just like, can we please like take this a little bit serious?
Yes.
So maybe I'm getting a little too serious.
I mean, it's been frustrating, especially because there's so many of them out there.
Yep. And everybody has multiples. It's not like I'm just talking about one. Everybody has multiples. All right, fellas, I'll holler at y'all
See you later.
later.